Hey everyone, this is Ergo Josh, and today I just wanted to make it a chill video and talk to you guys about the 6 fan arts challenge. This challenge is a pretty new challenge, and it's actually a pretty difficult one to do, but all it is you post an image to your followers and then you ask them which characters that they want you to draw, and then you just pick 6 of them that you want to draw and then you do it. And I actually saw a post recently that they were saying that you need a lot of followers to do it, but I feel like you can still do it if you don't have followers. You just pick 6 6 fandoms, 6 shows or from anywhere that you want to draw characters from, and then you just pick the characters and you go right ahead. So first off, we have Frozone, and just a disclaimer, if you've been watching my videos, usually I kind of script what I'm going to say, but for these I'm just gonna go all in and just talk, and hopefully that'll not only be a little bit more enjoyable to listen to, but it'll save me a lot of time because this is going to be quite a lot of drawing footage. I decided to limit these to 40 minutes each, around that, and then so that would give me a chance to get them all done before the video is uploaded this Sunday, but also give me some time to work on them a little bit more to really finesse them before I post them on Instagram. But yeah, I started off with Frozone. Unfortunately, looking back, I feel like he's the worst one in terms of just how much I like the drawing, which is, it makes sense because he's the first one that I started. Usually when I start drawing anything for a series or start drawing for the day, anything that's the first thing is usually the worst because I haven't really warmed up. But once I'd been doing these, it took me about 1.5 days to get through all of these. I was just doing it really well. And even I started, you'll hear me say later on, I started Raven first thing this morning, and I still feel like Raven turned out better than Frozone did. But the other thing was that Frozone was at a very interesting angle. He's at a unique angle, and that's not as easy to do. And I feel like I'm at the point finally where female anatomy is a little bit easier for me to do for my mind than male anatomy. But if I have a reference, male anatomy is way easier. It's it might sound weird, but that's also why. So I had to I tried looking up some art reference from Art Germ to kind of get an idea for the anatomy for him. And I also, you'll see me later on, I try to make him look a little bit more muscular because that's how he would look with that super skin tight leotard that he has on. I kind of define my style as like a kind of a little bit more realistic version of like a CG animated kind of thing, like a Disney style. But I also really like the very 2D, very fun and bouncy and expressive feel from a lot of the animators' sketches. So like Glenn Keane, for example, I really love how his drawings look, and I want that to be part of my style, so I kind of always look at his stuff to kind of steal it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Frozone. I chose him also because I really like his aesthetic, his length about him. Everything's lanky and long, especially with his jaw and his beard, so I really had fun doing that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Frozone, and I'll pop back in when we start Shigo. But to talk about Shigo, I picked her because villains are, I feel like for me, not only are villains fun, but they're also they're easier to do because it's just, there's something about the kind of angry, kind of negative emotion that's just so much easier to capture. With Shigo, I just remember her always looking disgusted, always upset, her arms crossed. It looks like she really hated working for, what was his name? Draken, I think, the main villain in Kim Possible. So I really wanted to emphasize that expression here. You can see me really getting into it. The frustrating thing about Shigo is, even though I felt like I was getting into the groove with this one, and by the way, this is in order with how I drew them, I felt like there was something really off with her face. You see right here where I flipped the image, she just looks really weird. And it's like her face has been smushed in, but as soon as I rotate it back, flip it back to the original orientation, she looks fine to me. And she still does after a whole night's rest. She still looks fine like the original way I drew her, but when I flip it, it looks weird. So eventually I kind of found a way to kind of massage it a little bit with the liquefy tool, and it looks kind of good on both ways, but I still feel like, it's one of those things where I'm like, use the the flip to your advantage or use a mirror to your advantage, but don't rely on it. I feel like naturally there's always going to be a way that we prefer. We're always going to have a good side. And so I just use it for when you get stuck and you can't find something, can't find out if something's wrong, or if you feel really good before you want to move on and do the detailing, flip it once just to check. But I don't like flipping like all the time because I feel like it's just neurotic, and there's always going to be something you see wrong when you flip it. With her also, I had a little bit of trouble with her pose. I think I can't wait till when I do my anatomy course at CGMA in a few weeks. That will help me sort out all of these difficulties I have. Like the shoulders are really kind of tricky for me. It's one of the most difficult parts, if not the most difficult part of the body, honestly, the shoulders. Yeah, I'm scanning the rest of the body. Honestly, they're the most difficult for me because I've drawn them so much and they still find them slightly more difficult than like hands and feet. But hopefully I can figure that out before, within the next few months here, and my drawings will just transform moving on. One of the concerns I had doing this was with the pink that I'm using to draw. I feel like my camera kind of went crazy with it a little bit, but I'm hoping you guys can still see all the lines and enjoy it. You won't see it in this video, but I eventually decided to go back over some of the lines and ink some of the drawings as I felt inspired with the men. I might do it for some of the women, but I'm not sure just yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Shigo. I had a lot of fun with Shigo, with her really kind of fun expression, and it was a good challenge to really get that feeling of disgust without making her look, without ruining that really nice appeal, that cute appeal that I really wanted to show through with her character. So yeah, next up is going to be Bakugo. By the way, I forgot to mention, all of these are sped up to 10 times the original speed. So these all took between 39 to 49 minutes. So I tried to stay around 40 minutes. So you can kind of estimate how the speed is for those of you who are trying to like get an idea for how this is. Hopefully it's not too bad. It's not too sped up, but I wanted to keep the video reasonably short in case, everyone gets like too bored. I might also include one video like of just one of the characters at a much slower speed so that you guys can like see my process a little bit more in detail. So now we're starting Bakugo, and he was one of the ones I was a lot more worried about for a few reasons. The first one is because he's very anime style, so it's kind of, anime is very reductive in terms of what they draw on the face, the facial features. So I was a little bit concerned with like, how am I going to draw him with more, semi-realistic features, but still have it look like Bakugo? But I feel like I kind of found a way to do it. I think I was pretty successful. But the other way that I was really worried about this piece was because of his hair. Bakugo has like an infinite number of spikes on his head that just makes his hair, that really doesn't exist in real life unless you're using a wig. So I didn't want to just copy a wig, so I tried my best to kind of approximate it. I noticed at a certain point that I was going too far and it was starting to look odd, so I just took a very minimal approach to it and just left it the way it was. And I'm pretty happy with that result. To be honest, like, I was expecting way worse with this portrait, but this is my third one, so I feel like that kind of helped me. I really didn't have any struggle planning anything or planning the placement for the eyes and the expression. It really just kind of went how I wanted it to go. But I also kind of took the easy route because I didn't draw him like in an action pose with this outfit. I wanted to draw him as a student. I wanted to capture that, like masculine toughness to him. You can see me move up his mouth there because I made him look a little bit too boorish. But I also wanted to capture how he's still youthful, he's still a teenager. And so, well, I guess I see them all as teenagers, honestly. I'm not sure if UA is supposed to be equivalent to a college, but I think, yeah, it should be like a high school. Yeah. So yeah, he's a teenager. And so I wanted to show him like that in the face, but still kind of give him a thicker neck, a little bit wider shoulders. So he looks like a little bit more masculine, which he is very much so in the anime. And I don't, you won't see me do it here, but I decided to go with some inking for him, kind of centering on his face and then spiraling outwards and little drops and lines here and there to really make him pop out. I'm gonna have to revisit the lower hairline of his hair a little bit more because it's tough to make it look, full, but also minimal at the same time. So I don't know. Like I can't wait to see what you guys have in terms of feedback for me on these pieces once I post the finished work on Instagram. But overall, I'm still very, very happy with this piece. Bakugo is one of those characters that I really disliked in the beginning of the anime, but as time kind of went on, I really felt I kind of liked him more and more, and I really enjoyed his presence, because usually the type of characters like Midoriya kind of annoy me too, the overly scared ones and overly kind of like self-doubting ones. And so what I found myself enjoying about the anime was that Bakugo was kind of the offset of that. And so where there would be a lot of tears and frustration and worry from Midoriya, you would get the insane confidence from Bakugo. And I felt like even within that, it was nice to see Bakugo almost influence Midoriya and kind of strengthen and toughen him up, and then Midoriya do the same to Bakugo. So it really became he really became a character that I enjoyed watching, especially once I was please, when he was captured by that one monster, I was like, please don't let this be the anime where he becomes the villain just because he's jealous. I was so expecting that to happen. I don't know, I'm sorry if this is kind of spoiling it for you, but I was so expecting that to happen when I started watching the first few episodes of My Hero Academia, but thank God it did not happen. He's not just some villain who's upset because he's jealous or whatever. So once that kind of was cleared out, I started really enjoying the anime. But yep, next is going to be, that's pretty much it for Bakugo, and next is going to be Samurai Jack. Whatcha? Alright, now it's Samurai Jack, and this is one of the ones I picked because I really wanted to kind of have a nod to my childhood, and pick somebody that I haven't been seeing people do a lot. I don't know if you've heard or seen the final season of Samurai Jack, but it was really quite a fantastic thing to be able to see your childhood, an animation from your childhood, be finished in current modern times, and then it's still done to the same exact quality and the same it's just as nostalgic. It's just imagine if you saw the old seasons of that anime. I mean, I guess it's kind of an anime, it's not really. But imagine if you saw that same thing, it's just scaled up to 4K or something. That's exactly how the last season of Samurai Jack was. So I really enjoyed it, and I started off wanting to do the old Samurai Jack, well, literally the young Samurai Jack from the past, but I just got really into just making all of these little marks on his face, so he started looking older and older and older. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna kind of draw a version of him when he's still 50 years aged, but in the future, but he has his kind of old hairstyle back, and that kind of started to evolve again. So this is the piece that evolved the most of all of these, and it really kind of took its own path. I ended up feeling like there was something missing. It kind of felt so imagine if there's 10 levels of art, and you know that you can draw at level 5, but you're looking at your drawing and it looks like level 4, but you can't figure out how to get it to level 5. You just don't actually know in this case. That's kind of how it felt for me. And so I was like, what can I do? So I just started watching some scenes that I could find on YouTube of the 5th season of Samurai Jack. I don't even know if it's the 5th season, but it's the final season that was done pretty recently, compared to the first 4. But I started watching them and it just hit me instantly. It's I have to give him a beard. So unfortunately, again, you're not going to see that because this is one of the pieces I decided to ink. I basically decided to ink all the guys. And yeah, it really put everything together, and it's probably either the one that I'm the most proud of all of these 6 fan arts, but it's definitely one of the most that I'm going to be proud of. I'm not sure how Pocahontas is going to end up once I finish it, because I really like how Pocahontas is coming out right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and Samurai Jack is just a really special show to me, because of like how he's developed in his progression. I feel like he's an excellent role model for me and a lot of other people or young boys back then who watched Samurai Jack. I don't know what the demographics were, but the one thing that was kind of weird is like I drew his sword in the wrong perspective, so it ends up looking like he committed seppuku, which was actually kind of like, it was brought up in the show a little bit, and I thought that I just left that there. I thought it was really cool, like how it's kind of playing with that idea of the trauma and stress that he's gone through. I found myself asking myself what I would have done in his situation by the end of everything, but at the end of the day, you know, he's a very unique person. I really compare him to like John Wick in his mindset, and yeah, I love John Wick as well. So yeah, I just love Samurai Jack and the whole animation as well. I feel like I need to rewatch a lot of it. Oh, I actually do ink some of it here, so you can kind of see my process for that, but I think I redo a lot of this. But yeah, next up is going to be Raven from Teen Titans. Okay, now we have Raven from Teen Titans. I love Teen Titans. Man, I did not enjoy that show enough as a kid. I honestly should rewatch this as well. But Raven has been always a character that has been super popular, favorite from many people, especially since, you know, the Raven and Starfire duo has been drawn a lot, especially in the space on Instagram. But, you know, if I had to pick one, it's definitely going to be Raven. I really love her vibe, just everything about her story. It's super moody. So I wanted to make sure to capture that is in my sketch as well. I saw a reference. By the way, that brings me to how I do these. So, in case you didn't know, I'm definitely not just doing these all from my mind. I'm looking at references for the character, and I'm looking at a reference that I found for the pose and the somewhat of the expression. So I usually work with 2 images, usually a photograph of a model or just somebody posing for like a clothing or a fashion shoot. And then I have several different images of the actual character. And then sometimes I'll get like, it's really this one time for Bakugo, I actually found a cosplay because I needed some help to figure out how the hair would look in real life. But yeah, just a few images of the character. Sometimes I'll also have a few different artworks that other people have done to help me see how they've interpreted something looking in real life. So for example, I had one artwork that I looked at to kind of give me an idea for the hoodie. Eventually I had to kind of like scrap the hoodie because eventually something fell upstairs, but eventually I had to scrap the hoodie and just draw it the way I wanted it to be drawn. And then from there, that really started to look a lot better. I really love her expression and how her cheek is being pushed up by her finger. She looks so done with everything, which is how she always is in the show. So I'm really happy with how I captured that. But yeah, I recommend that kind of process for anyone who's doing fan art, especially if your style is more realistic than the show or cartoon or animation that you're drawing inspiration from for the character. Definitely get and look for a photograph of a human being to use. So for this one in particular, I was using Hannah Kim. She's one of my favorite models on Instagram. She had a picture where she was sitting at a table, and even though this is, I copied the pose almost exactly, the face is completely different, and that was just easy for me to do naturally. I just needed, a resource for the realistic thing that I had in my mind's eye, but I couldn't really find out how to construct it just yet. And so I used that reference, and then I used the references of Raven herself, and then that helped me put everything together. This one I think I might ink as well because it just seems so fitting with her character. But this one I did not make as much progress on because I struggled a lot with getting the shoulders right. And actually, you know, for once it wasn't the face that I was struggling with. It was just, you know, getting the anatomy right for the hands and the placement of the arms and making everything level. But yeah, this is one of my favorites for sure. And I felt really confident, which helped me do really well on the next one, which is Pocahontas. So if you ask me, Pocahontas is hands down the most beautiful Disney princess, in my opinion. I feel like I've always felt that way, but it wasn't until I kind of had to pick a Disney princess for this 6 fan arts thing that I realized, yeah, she's really the number one for me in that area. But when people ask me like, who's your favorite Disney princess, that's really hard because it's like overall, I really can't pick one. Maybe if I rewatched all of them, I haven't seen Pocahontas in a long time, but the animated, like the original animated Pocahontas, definitely the most beautiful princess for me. I feel like I've been drawn to like that kind of like elegant, kind of extended vibe that she has, that the way she's animated in that way. She definitely portrays herself as like the most mature, I think, looking back on the Disney princesses that I've seen. I still haven't seen Sleeping Beauty yet, which is pretty crazy. But you know, maybe that'll change, but I kind of doubt it. But yeah, I really am super proud of how this one turned out. Again, trying so much to capture the spirit of like how Glenn Keane would have these amazing sketches, how he draws like I believe he worked on Rapunzel, but definitely know he worked on Pocahontas and Ariel, trying to capture that hair, that graceful hair that he's always drawing so well. So I tried to do it here, not nearly as graceful, but I feel like it's definitely capturing that free vibe. I keep saying vibe for everything. But here I use the same technique where I had a reference that I feel like fit Pocahontas, and I added the clothes in myself because she has a pretty simple clothing design, so it wasn't too hard for me to kind of add that in using some artistic liberty. And with this one, since I decided to shade her face, I was a little bit concerned it didn't look as appealing as it did as a sketch like right now, but I ended up still being happy with it, and it looks pretty good to me. But yeah, overall, this is definitely one of my favorites. If not, I'm not sure if it's gonna be better than Samurai Jack, which you'll have to wait and follow me on Instagram to see. I might put in the thumbnail, or I might show you all how it looks at the end, but I can't make any promises right now. But yeah, this is my 6 fan arts. I hope you enjoyed it. You should let me know if this inspired you in any way with your fan arts going forward. I hope this video has also been helpful to you guys who are stuck inside, which is all of us. If you're not working in an essential job, wanted to put this video out there so that we could all, so I could contribute to the content that's helping us as artists to kind of keep motivated and keep inspired to keep working on what we love, whether it's a hobby or something that we want to do professionally. So again, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, give me a like, all the things that you need to do. Hit the bell icon and all that. And yeah, I don't know exactly what I'll have for next week. Oh yeah, by the way, thanks so much for 250,000 subscribers. I hit that on the same exact day I hit 50,000 followers on Instagram. So I was planning to do a kind of contest, kind of fun challenge. I won't say what it is in this video, but you'll have to stay tuned for my community page because that's how I announce things. So keep your eyes peeled on that page for the next 2 days, and there's going to be a challenge posted that you guys can work on for the rest of the week. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.